Hi, everybody. My name is Chris Weiss, and I am the owner of Domain Apparel. We're a small, family run t shirt screen printing business. We started off back in 2019, in April, May of 2019, and we had a vision, a few years before that we wanted to leave our desk jobs, travel the world, and then when we came back, we wanted to be able to do something where we're not dependent on sitting in a cubicle like we work. My wife and I, we used to work at Microsoft. We were in the on the social media team where we handled a lot of Q&A. It was an easy job, nice job, but it was just so repetitive. On our 10-year dating anniversary, we took a 2-week vacation to Thailand. And while we were there, we just fell in love with the country, the culture, the people. And when we came back over the next year, we just kept dreaming about going back. And we're like, would it be feasible to live over there? Would it be feasible to, at least stay for a few months at a time? So we checked everything out online, checked out the vlogs that are available, different websites, Q&A pages, and we just kind of made a leap of faith, and we sold most of everything that we had, and we said, we're going to make it no matter what, and we're going to go travel. When we come back, we're going to start a business. And that's what we did. We went and we stayed for 14 months, and when we came back, over that time, I was trying to decide what I wanted to do, and luckily the University of YouTube provided the answer, which was doing custom screen printed shirts. I just fell in love with the idea. I dove into it, spent hundreds of hours watching different videos, and when we got back, I bought all the equipment to start our screen printing business. When we started, we were very small. We only had a couple designs, and actually the first event we ever did, or if you want to call it event, but not really, the first thing we ever did was we set up on the side of the road in Fort Worth with a little tent, and we sold, the few designs that we had. And over the course of about 4 or 5 hours, we got one single sale, and that was my little brother's friend who came to see us. And we gave him a discount too. So, it just goes to show you that you never get discouraged right off the bat, because things can and will turn around if you put your heart and soul into something. Over that summer, we found places to go to sell our shirts. The Burleson Farmers Market was huge for us. That's our first place that we really got established. Started to learn the community, started to get repeat customers, started to know what, people like in t-shirts. We specialize ourselves in like pop culture, gaming, nerdy type shirts. But it's just like in that movie Joe Dirt, when he goes to the fireworks stand and they're only selling sprinklers and snakes. It's not about what you like, it's the consumer. So we had to take a lot of input from our community, figured out what the trends were. There was a lot of work figuring out what people are really into for the shirt business, especially in that local area. So we started coming up with parody designs. For example, this was one of our first designs. This was my wife's idea. It is the combination of Whataburger and Wonder Woman. So 2 things you cannot go wrong with. This is one of our highest selling designs of all time. We found the font online at defont.com. It was free to download. And then of course the Wonder Woman logo is easy to find, and we just smashed them together. A lot of people ask me about licensed material and whatnot. And what we've discovered in the business is that if you're doing parody material, fan art, you're not going to have, a lot of trouble. If you're trying to pass off something as 100% trademarked and you're like, oh yeah, this is licensed, we bought it from the company, you're definitely going to get in trouble. That being said, if we ever got a cease and desist letter from one of the many companies that we parody, we would probably stop right away. We don't need that to go to court over a T-shirt. Um, Lately, as we've been expanding and growing, we've been able to jump on trends a lot faster. Um, the most recent of which is the phenomenal Loki TV show on Disney Plus. Now, like my wife and I, we've always been huge fans of Loki ever since the first Thor movie. And then when the show came out, we're just sitting there mesmerized by the awesome soundtrack, the visuals, the theme of it, and it just hit me like I own a T-shirt company. I'm gonna jump on the computer right now and come up with a design. So we came up with the Loki variant design right here. So you got the Loki horns, the variant in the same font as they use on the show that's on his jacket. We picked the color of the shirt to be the same color as the font, so it's kind of an inverse image where the shirt is the font color and then you got that Loki green on there. In addition to that, I don't think it's much of a spoiler because it's everywhere on social media, we also got the Loki Gator hat. In a multiverse of characters now that they have in Marvel, out of the infinite possibilities, there is a Loki that is a gator, which we thought was hilarious. So we threw that on a hat. We also, I don't have it out here, but we have it as a Lacoste parody on a green polo shirt. So it's just kind of like a little subtle thing that you can wear to the office that, it's fun. 9 times out of 10, nobody's going to notice. But somebody might look down and see the horns on the Lacoste gator. But anyways, that's an example of, us being able to jump on trends a lot quicker now that we've mastered, well, I wouldn't say mastered, we're always learning, but now that we are able to produce things a lot quicker. A lot of people ask me what the process is for creating a t-shirt. And what we do, what we specialize is starting from just a simple idea and turning it into a finished product. So it's either, I always say I get these 2 a.m. ideas, which means I'm trying to fall asleep and then all of a sudden an idea hits me out of nowhere and I have to get on the computer right away and start designing, otherwise I'll lose it. Which most of these shirts are examples of the 2 a.m. ideas. So what I mean by designing is I will get on Adobe Illustrator usually, and I'll use different graphic files I have on hand. I don't do a lot of hand-drawn stuff myself. I'm better graphically. I do have some really awesome art that I outsource to some of my friends that are artists. And what we'll do is I'll pay my friend for the rights to use his design and exclusive rights, and we put it on a shirt, such as our most popular shirt of all time, which I don't know if you can see, is a parody of Attack on Titan and Pokemon, where you got the giant Pikachu reaching over the wall. And I was explaining the concept to him because this is actually an idea I had in the back of my mind for years before I even started the business. It's like, just imagine instead of the colossal Titan, you got Pikachu reaching over the wall. And in any universe where Pikachu's involved, Team Rocket's always going to be going after him. So I said, get Team Rocket in the Scout Regiment gear, throw him in the burning city there, and there you go. That's the perfect idea. And so far, we have sold probably upwards of 500 of those shirts. It's our best-selling shirt of all time. And the artist has actually become a good friend of mine. We talk almost every day, and we're always bouncing ideas off each other. And some of the other shirts we have on our website are designed by him as well, and we got a few more on the way. So if it's not a design that the artist is doing, I'll do a finished design in Adobe Illustrator. The next step would be to turn it into a silk screen. You probably heard of silk screening, which is the old school way of making t-shirts. There's a lot of ways to make a shirt. You can do vinyl, sublimation, direct to garment, but we prefer the hands-on approach of silk screening. So you take that digital design, You print it onto a transparency, like kind of like your transparency films you saw back in high school or middle school, where they had it on the projector. And what you do is you take a silk screen that's been coated with a special chemical, the emulsion chemical, and it's a lot like the old way of developing photos, where you have to do it in a dark room setting because the chemical itself is light sensitive. So my shop isn't equipped to be light tight, so I always just have to do them at night when I'm making the new screens. I'd have the red light bulbs going and all that, just like in the old photo labs. So you put the design onto the screen, you tape it on there, and we put it into a UV exposure box. And it's kind of like a sun tanning box, but for t-shirt screens. And you blast it with the light for about a minute and a half. And then that whole screen is going to be hardened, except for the part where the transparency film was touching it. That's going to be still soft. So you take the water hose, you wash out the image, and so you have like a negative. And then you're able to mount it onto the screen printing press, put the ink on it, and run the ink through the press onto the shirt, and then you got your prints. And that's just the quick rundown of how we make our screens from start to finish. There's a million videos on YouTube that explain it better, a lot better than me. Over the last few years, we've been lucky enough to be able to grow the business. We still don't have a brick and mortar store yet, but we're definitely aiming for that. As of now, we have 3 locations, pop-up locations going every weekend. So a total of 6 events every weekend. And we want to hit 5 pop-ups before we're able to launch our brick and mortar store. It's been a lot of work, a lot of dedication, a lot of long nights in a very hot, non-air conditioned screen printing shop that we have. If you want to check us out, what we have, definitely go to our website, domainapparel.com, or you can go to facebook.com/domainapparel or instagram.com/domainapparelusa. And of course, if you're coming out to WeebCon, come and see us at our booth. We're going to be here all weekend. Thank you very much.